Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of June. I'm going to give you the key strands to look out for this week. Please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces, which you can watch in terms of your ascendant or your sun or both. Now this week, of course, does see the new moon in the sign of Cancer. Now, depending on where you are in the world, it's on the 28th or 29th. In terms of Universal Central Time, it's the 29th. And this squares with the buoyant energy of Jupiter. Now, both are in cardinal signs. Cancer, the second of the cardinal quadrants, is very much about protection, nurture, the environment, our home, our family, our feelings. So that upbeat energy, that levitating energy of Jupiter is asking us to find ways, enterprising ways, because I think Jupiter is pushing for that, to add that sense of security at the root of our existences. Now Neptune, the planet of dreams, does begin a retrograde on Tuesday, which will last through to the 4th of December. Neptune's great if we want to embrace a more spiritual dimension, whether it's a more traditional spirituality or something that's more personal and much more to do with our own particular way of experiencing faith. But the retrograde could see us thinking very deeply about these issues over this period of time. But later this week, Neptune gets into a rather destructive right angle with Mercury. Mercury in the sign of Gemini, of course, is in its home sign, and it's very much about clarity and quick wits. So an exchange towards the end of this week may require a little more care, particularly if you're talking about a contract. But some gossip could be doing the round, so vital to try to keep things real. But there are two glorious influences this week. Mars forges a very stable angle to Saturn, and also there's a beautiful link between Jupiter and Venus. Now that can actually be very lucky, and if you're wanting to look to add to your family, I understand that this particular aspect can be very helpful, but it's also one where we can socialise and be a bit more free-spirited and live in the moment. Now the more breaking and restrictive energies of Saturn are counterbalanced by the more progressive energies of Mars, which is very much about pushing forwards. So Saturn can act as a bit of an anchor for the more rampant and more impulsive energies of Mars, so that's a very nice balancing influence too. In fact, towards the end of this week, despite the fact that Mercury gets blighted by Neptune, it actually also itself forges a stable link to Saturn. So I think as the week goes on, scrutinising the details around anything is going to be important. And as I say, particularly if you're discussing a contract, a job offer, or you're sending some communication that's important, make sure that you treble check everything before you do press that send button. Now, if you'd like to get a more detailed understanding of the new moon, please see beneath this video and you can watch my new moon special video. But if you are new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. I'm nearly there at the 100,000 subs mark, and if you've already subscribed, I'm very grateful. And if you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and embrace the wonder of more serious astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place, I can give you a roadmap that can guide you for the rest of your life, as well as a 12-month personal forecast. These are completely individual to you, and there's 30% off if you see the link beneath this video with my special offer. So Scorpio, your week commencing the 27th of June forecast has a glorious new moon in your sister water sign of Cancer. And this is all about adventure, expansion, travel, higher education, the things that really inspire you. So if you're wanting to be much more adventurous and active over the following 4 weeks, this is a new moon which gives you a lot of permission to do so. It's also, of course, linked into Jupiter in your sector of the 6th house, work, health, and so on. So I just feel that when it comes to arrangements and your diary and just what you agree to do with others, just be conscious over the next 4 weeks that you don't want to be boxing yourself into a situation where you feel your freedom is really thwarted, but also you feel you're letting people down. So the best way to handle this particular new moon is to embrace its enthusiasm, but under-promise and over-deliver on what you do for other people. Now, Neptune is going retrograde in your sector of romance and creativity through to the early part of December. But that's going to help you to dig deep, to find a greater meaning for some of the strands that involve expressing yourself, whether it is the warmth and your affection, whether it is your talents. Neptune retrograde can be draining, it's true, and towards the end of this week it is in a difficult right angle with Mercury. So if you're discussing any financial situation, or you're thinking of giving someone a gift, particularly someone that you're getting to know, think twice. Make sure that how you are won't be misrepresented in some way. Actually, do you know your 8th house of longer term finance, but also where you're most invested psychologically and perhaps even emotionally, perhaps even sexually, that is lit up brilliantly this week by Venus, and it's linked to Jupiter. And that could bring some kind of windfall around a job offer, or if you work for yourself, perhaps a deal can come up, an opportunity that really pleases you. Generally speaking, getting more organised at home could see you free up some spare resources where possible. Now also Mars, your traditional ruler, that's in a very stable link with Saturn. Saturn continues in your 4th house of emotion and the home and the family. It is in retrograde, but the link with Saturn again points towards getting things really working tickety-boo on the home front. But I think the new moon generally is going to give you a much greater desire to get out and about. And if that's not possible because of your circumstances, to certainly access a part of your thinking. The internet's a wonderful way to reach out to people these days. And if that's something you enjoy, I think your research and connection to others can be really uplifting over the next 4 weeks.